Preparing to leave to live to yeah, here we go. Preparing to live stream the meeting. Okay. Setting up your meeting for YouTube Live. Done. Redirecting to YouTube. We are live, guys. Preparing to leave to live to
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the International Shakespeare Players live online reading of Starcrossed, a new play in progress by playwright Michael Carey. Welcome to all of you. Tonight's read will last about 2 hours and 30 minutes approximately, and we will have a 10-minute intermission between Act 1 and Act 2. This is a special reading because it's a new play. And as such, we're going to have a little talk back at the end of tonight. And if you want to participate, there's two ways you can do that. If you're following along on the YouTube live stream, you can put some comments into that and or questions. And there will also be a Zoom link put in, and at the conclusion of the read, if you would like to join in the talkback, you can come into the Zoom call and join us, and our playwright will be here, and we'll have a short talkback time. So thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. As is ISP tradition, we will start our performance or read tonight with a thematically appropriate sonnet. So this is Sonnet 116 by William Shakespeare. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever-fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's full, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out, even to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. Starcrossed, a new play by playwright Michael Carey. Act 1, Scene 1, Honeymoon in Hell. There is nothing, a blank void in darkness, but like a good theatrical blank void, it has some levels to it. On one particular level, about the size of a funeral bier, are the bodies of two star-crossed lovers. As lights reveal these two, the last words of a prince in a not-so-far-away world echo like an unintentional farewell.
A glooming peace this morning with it brings. The sun for sorrow will not show his head. Go hence, to have more talk of these sad things. Some shall be pardoned, and some punished. For never was a story of more woe than this, of Juliet and her Romeo.
The couple, now bathed in their own light, is still for a moment, and with a start, the young man rises.
Alack! What fire within my limbs bestirs me now? My quaking form doth pull upon the air, and though it seems to fill an empty chest, where now reigns but hungry vacancy, apothecary falls, thou rogue of villain! Beshrew thy fatal draught! I live, I wake! But soft, what light is here beside me still? My star, my east, dear Julia, prithee speak!
Silence while he takes in her lifeless body.
It's too much now to hope for life, where death and greedy coldness holds thee to his breast. Thou art his lady now. I shall wait upon thee presently. Give me my knife, the conduct to thy grave, and with its tongue.
Juliet wakes with a start.
Oh, heaven!
Hark!
My love!
A miracle!
But art thou he? Say truly, Romeo.
The same am I, though changed by flood of fortune.
Nay, do not change, but stay thou what thou wert, for constancy becomes the marriage bed.
Then stay I true, as north, as life.
As death, I saw thee dead. I held your corpse, and now?
And now, that too seems changeable.
How strange this second life.
Think no more on it, pray, but mercy raises thanks and thanks again. If heaven deems us worthy twice to live, then let us wade in mercy's pool and seal our thanks with eager lips.
And taste our joy.
They kiss. They stop, catch their breath, and kiss again. They stop to regard one another.
My love,
Thy lips art ice, thy hands a glacier.
I thought 'twas you, a lingering remainder from death's unhappy clutches.
No, no, not me. Give me mine own again, and I shall prove our heat a match for Hades' icy grasp.
They kiss one more time, this time like they really mean it, during which time the porter enters with a large bowl of soup in his hand and a large book tucked under his arms. He is dressed in the manner of a servant. He sees them and stops cold. They notice they're not alone. It's rather a surprise for everyone involved.
I'm sorry, I didn't think anyone was in here.
And who art thou who dares disturb this place?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
Your name, say I. Give answer.
Oh, forbear your wrath, gentle Romeo, give rein to reason's touch. Good sir, forgive my love. His soul's reborn within the hour and finds offense where none is meant.
I find offense defending modesty.
Then modesty's defender is mistook. My virtue holds protected by our vows. Our golden bands protect me better now than swagger ever could. But come, a wife has privilege where maidens oft might blush.
I'll stay my wrath for her sake. Say your piece.
Oh, you're too kind. Well, as I was saying, no one is supposed to be in here, ergo, I wasn't expecting anyone. I did not mean to interrupt. That said, I'm sure arrangements can be made. God knows we like to keep our company happy.
He sets his tray down.
God knows pretty well everything here. Now, if I can start with your names.
The porter opens his book and retrieves a writing utensil.
Our names? It is you, dog, whose name I crave.
Oh, well, there you've got me.
Indeed.
Why? You see, I've got none to give.
What meanst you, good sir?
I was never given a proper Christian name, milady. Never had much use for one neither, not past porter, anyway.
Porter.
Aye, ma'am. I am what I am, and I does what I do, if you take my meaning.
I'm afraid we don't.
And what is it that you do?
I am a porter. I get things to and fro.
To and fro?
Right you are. I port, import, export, transport. I've even been known on one occasion to deport, though truth to say, we've only had to do that once, and it took 3 days.
Is this your land, then, good porter?
As I am its sole inhabiter, I shall equivocate to say that it is. Now, if you would be so kind to give me your names, if you please.
But
I am Juliet, the daughter of one Capulet of Verona.
and I'm Romeo, a Montague of the same.
Romeo grabs Juliet's hand to brace himself for the fallout this scandalous information is sure to bring. However, no fallout occurs, and it may be that Romeo is somewhat disappointed.
Juliet and Romeo. Huh. That's got a nice ring, don't it? Huh? Yes, there you are. Veronese lovers, opposing houses, secret marriage, untimely death. That's you.
Aye.
Very good, sir. I'll take this across the way and get you settled. Can I get you anything, something to drink? Can I offer you my soup, maybe?
Did you not hear? We hail from warring houses. A Capelan and Montague are we.
Yep, I got it. It's all written down here.
Then give your master news of us.
My love,
For nothing e'er shall sunder these two hands. Not famine, strife, or burning ancient grudge.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
Believe it, thou.
It's tough, isn't it? Theeing and thouing away and keeping up meter like that. I'll say this, though. If I had a girl like that to impress, I'd wax poetical myself. But there's no need to flog it.
how say you, sir?
The verse. We don't really... We're all pros down here, milady.
Down here.
That's right. Plain spoken to a fault. I've found that there are 3 things that lift the human soul to poetry. Life, love, death. But when you've made it past all these lot, you end up here, it has a way of knocking the poetry right out of you.
When you say made it here, what mean you, Porter?
Well, the end of the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. The shuffling off of this mortal coil. The undiscovered country. The necessary end. The but. The very sea mark of your utmost sail. The kingdom of perpetual night. The untimely frost upon the sweetest flower of all the field.
Those words spoke I, but half an hour away.
You spoke of death.
And death will have its day. There now, you've got me doing it too.
Oh, Romeo.
She rises to go to Romeo, but as she stands, the wound that brought her here drops her to her knees.
Oh,
My love.
Easy now.
Grasps her belly and the realization all at once.
I am slain.
Yes, that's a right nasty little hole that you've got there.
Porter sets his things down and they help her back to the bier.
A surgeon, fetch her one.
There ain't no surgeon boy can set her to rights.
She's wounded.
Aye, and so are you. So are we all in one way or another. There. That better?
Yes.
You'll be all right. You'll learn to carry it.
She'll not recover.
Afraid not. And I'm guessing she'll have to carry it longer than most.
Why say you that?
She can't be more than 15 years old, can she?
Almost 14, sir.
Even so. 'Twill be a time and time again ere her burden lifts.
Speak plain, sir.
I have been. Look, near as I can figure, the both of you shouldn't be here.
He picks up his book and consults it.
Leastways, not yet.
What does he say?
We're dead. You with poison, and me with that most unhappy dagger.
She gets it.
Then what fresh hell is this?
Not hell, sir. No, not nearly hell. But not quite heaven, neither. Think of it as a waiting room of sorts before the bell chimes for your ultimate to or fro.
I don't understand.
This is the land of the dead.
Yes and no. More yes than no, but still.
Then you must also have my cousin here.
And brave Mercutio. Mercutio!
Oh, no,
Cannot.
no. You won't find them here.
Then where are they?
You see, the pair of you are what we call early. Because of that, there ain't no place for you. Not yet, anyway. Whereas your cousin, and with that temper of his, and your friend's habit of running his mouth, we're all surprised they lasted as long as they did. Now, I haven't run the numbers, but if I were to hazard a guess, each of you's got to have 40, 50 years left before you were supposed to punch out.
Because we refused our lives on Earth without each other.
In a nutshell, yes.
So what are we to do? Wait here?
Afraid so.
For 50 years?
That was just a guess, mind you. Look, it's a hassle for everyone. No one likes it. You've got no idea the arrangements that must be made. The sheer blow to thermodynamics alone is just enough to make your head spin. It's no wonder the Almighty's fixed his cannon against it.
Thermo,
Here, try my soup.
The porter picks up his bowl and offers it to Juliet.
I don't see.
Try it.
He extends the soup to her again, and this time she takes it, and with a tentative gesture, she raises it to her lips, and finally she tastes it.
oh, it's cold.
That's right. Everything here is cold. The soup, his hands, your lips, all of it. It's the way of things. This constant cooling off. Till we're all room temperature, someone said. Only the room, in our case, is bloody freezing.
But the air isn't cold.
Because there ain't no air here. There's only nothing, and nothing, if it's anything at all, is ice cold. But you can't rightly feel it because you're, well, look, this is the bed you've made for yourselves. You didn't want to live apart, so now you'll be dead together, and it's no use bleeding on about it.
I'm sorry.
As am I.
Yes, well, what good is dying if it don't lend you some perspective? Point is, you're here now.
Where?
Here,
Which is?
nowhere,
For how long?
till the end
The end of what?
of your natural lives.
May we leave?
No,
So we're trapped.
no.
But you said we could not leave.
Are you familiar with the mathematical works of Listing and Möbius?
No?
Well, then you're just going to have to trust me on this one, my lady. Now, I am going to hop upstairs for a bit, make sure preparations are underway. I know, if we're nowhere, then how can I go upstairs? But it's easier than saying I'll be passing through a pan-dimensional rift, so let's all just agree on the vernacular.
The porter gathers a soup bowl and his book, and he heads out.
But what are we to do for the next 50 years?
I can manage some rudimentary comforts if you'd like. Games, food, that sort of thing. The more mundane, the easier it is to conjure up. But if you're a young married couple in love, I'm sure you'll figure something out.
And he's gone. The couple shares a meaningful look. Romeo grabs Juliet by the hand.
Come with me.
Where?
Away from this place.
He said we could not leave.
We've both been told before what cannot be. The stars themselves cannot see, but the stars themselves could not but see as wet.
I pray for love, please do not bid me go.
For love, sweet Chuck, I will not have thee stay.
I fear I shall faint.
And stay thee here, and alone I shall go. So fear thee not.
Romeo exits to the right. Juliet's breath is taken away. Romeo is off stage.
You see, our safety is ensured. Now come.
You test the boundaries of this time and place.
He gets further
not-
away.
And not but not will be our recompense. You see me still?
I do.
And he goes
And-
further away.
And now?
I do.
Suddenly, Romeo enters from the left. He faces left, though, as though he was backing away from her.
And thus we'll travel step by weary step. You see me now, dear?
Juliet hears Romeo nearby, turns and touches him gently.
I in touch thee too.
Whoa. There's a moment here of wonder as they work out this puzzle.
Ah,
Yes.
a trick perhaps of light.
Or time or space.
Thus trapped are we within this evil place.
The sentence strict bestows more good than ill.
To be a captive held against my will, ensnared like beasts or caged like fowler's birds.
Oh, but peace, my love, and heed the porter's words.
And what said he?
That being newlywed, our wandering soon might find their way to bed.
Lights fade to black, but a romantic black. You know the one I'm talking about. Music. Act 1, Scene 2, Absolute Power. In darkness, we hear the sounds of kissing and a couple trying to figure things out. There's some laughter. And then
Hold!
What say you?
Hold, my lord.
Well, my hands do hold.
You miss my meaning.
Nay, my aim is true.
Leave off, I say. It hurts. I pray you, hold.
the laughter is gone. The lights come up. There's a tray with a deck of playing cards on one of the levels. Scattered about are 2 bowls of soup, 2 glasses, a carafe of water, evidence of an impromptu picnic. A ways away, Romeo sits on the floor. Juliet is also seated. They face away from each other. They take a minute.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. It's too much. The wound, it interferes.
Thought maybe if I spoke like we used to. I don't know, that might trigger something.
My body, like the world, is out of joint.
It's just been so long since we were able.
We'll figure it out.
Sure, yeah.
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 How long has it been?
Been here for weeks now.
Weeks? Surely not. Days, maybe.
It's weeks. The porters brought at least that many meals.
But you've not eaten. You're saying you can go weeks without food?
Perhaps. I don't know. I don't know anything about this place. Anything I eat turns to ash in my mouth, and anything I touch causes you pain, so precious little to look forward to here.
I'm sorry. I just.
No, it's not. I'm sorry, I can't. There's got to be more to being married than food or sex, right?
Right.
I'm just incapable of thinking what it might be.
What should we.
I don't know.
We could play a game.
Oh, no. Those sorts of things always take me out of it.
I meant a card game. What were you thinking?
Oh, but where did you find cards?
She rises with some effort and crosses to the tray where the cards are still in their box.
The porter brought them in today with the soup. He said it was a little gift to pass the time.
What should we play?
What do you know?
She shuffles the cards rather excellently.
I mean, I never spent much time with cards.
You never played with your family?
I was the youngest of 11, so no. My mother was content just to keep us from murdering each other. Mercutio would take Ben and me out to the ale houses, and there would often be tables of men playing 1 and 30 or more.
We've nothing to bet, though.
Oh,
No, that will land us back where we started. We could play one that Nurse taught me. It's rather simple.
very well. I'll play your game.
Help me back down, will you?
He helps her to sit.
Thank you. Okay. You're trying to get the lowest score. Every card in the deck is worth its value, except for kings and queens. Queens are worth 20.
And kings are 22?
No, kings are nothing. Jacks are -1, unless you have 2 of them, just like everything else, and you only have 4 cards, but you can only see 2 of them, but you don't want me to know what they are. So you only look once at them at the very beginning, and then you just try to match everything, except for jacks, of course.
Oh, right, except for jacks.
Too confusing?
What if we just split the deck, flip the top card over, and see who's highest?
How do you play?
That's it, I just made it up. Whoever has the most cards at the end wins. Here, give me the deck.
She hands it to him.
I take half, and you take half too.
He splits the deck roughly into.
Wait, how do we know that they're even?
Doesn't matter.
How can it not matter when the way you win is by having the most cards?
It's a mindless game of chance. Things will even themselves out. Just hold the cards. Good. Now you flip a card, then I flip.
They do.
Hey, 9 and 3. I win. Then we do it again.
They do.
7 and 6. I win. Then we go again.
They do.
8 and 10.
He wins again and collects the cards.
This is a stupid game.
It's supposed to be a stupid game.
Then what's the point?
You wanted to pass the time.
He flips the card.
There, I've got a king. You go.
I can't beat a king.
He waits on her until she gives in and finally flips.
2 kings.
What happens now?
Don't know. We'll do a tie break. Winner gets hot.
You're just going to win.
Fine, we'll randomize it. Take the top 2 or 3 cards and lay them face down. Here. 1, 2, 3.
I thought you said 2.
Oh my god, just do 3. Good. Now, whoever has the highest card gets all of these.
Why?
Because it gives you a chance to get back in the game. It's how the universe evens things out.
The universe? What do you mean the universe?
I don't know. Fate, God, whatever.
Did you just whatever God?
No.
You did.
Julie, it's just a figure of speech.
I thought you were Catholic, Romeo.
Everybody's Catholic. That doesn't mean anything.
It means a great deal. It means a very great deal. Who even are you?
Just flip the card.
No,
Flip it.
but you win every time.
Go out.
It's not fair. It's not a fair game. You can't expect me to win with the hand that I'm dealt.
Good Lord, Juliet.
And now you're swearing?
You're being ridiculous. Just flip the card.
You rigged it. I don't know how, but you rigged it.
That seems like something I would do.
Seems? No, I think it is. First, you split the cards, and then you make sure that they're not even, and now you've won the first 3 in a row. What am I supposed to think with that?
I'm your husband. I'm not going to cheat.
Give me your cards then.
No,
Why not?
because they're my cards.
You're cheating.
Shuffle them yourself.
Give me your cards.
Trust me and flip it.
Give me your cards.
Flip it.
Just give me your cards.
Giving you my cards isn't going to prove anything.
It'll prove if you're cheating or not.
How?
If I'm not going to play anymore.
You can't walk away.
I don't want to play your stupid game.
There's a lot more at stake here than some cards.
I'm done.
Here, fine, take them.
He trades decks with hers. She stares at it.
Now flip the card.
You first.
He flips the top card over. His hopes are shattered. His fire is gone.
A 3.
Yeah,
It's a 3.
I see that.
That was supposed to be my card.
I know.
I know I'm new to this game, but there aren't a whole lot of cards lower than 3, are there?
No.
Some people just have to win.
No. God, no, that's not what's happening. Look, I wasn't trying to start a war. Please just flip your card.
No, I think I'm done.
She sets her deck down and struggles to her feet.
What are you doing?
I'm going for a walk.
Wait, let me help you.
I can do it.
You're not even going to see what it is.
She takes a beat until she comes to a decision.
I don't think that's the wisest thing at this point.
She exits. He stares at her deck. He reaches out for it, grabs it, sets it back down like a drug he knows he shouldn't take. He breathes heavily until the porter enters. The porter carries an identical tray of soup, glasses, and carafe. He also has his book under his arm. He will proceed to gather the remains of the picnic throughout this conversation.
Where's your other half?
She's out.
Out. That's a new one.
She went for a walk.
Juliet enters upstage from the opposite side that she originally exited. She continues to do this as she walks and lets off steam.
Getting in some alone time, are you?
Could say that.
And I did. You know, you're quite lucky.
Am I?
Sure. Most come here alone. You know, the other early ones. Lonely business, that.
Sure it is.
They say it's not good for a man to be alone.
Do they?
They do. I'm sure it's for some divine reason, but I think it just makes them moody. Haven't touched your soup.
No, I can't seem to get it down.
Ah, that'll be the poison that done you.
Juliet
Shall I-
crosses the stage again.
Shall I bring you something else?
I don't really see the point.
The porter thinks for a moment and sets his book down while he explains.
Normalcy, I reckon.
What?
Normalcy. A noun, meaning the state of existing in an environment where you know what's what. Consider this. I see you breathing.
So?
First, being dead, your body no longer needs oxygen. Second, being, as we are, in the realm of the dead, there ain't even any oxygen to breathe. So what are you doing? In and out all the time. It's a habit, really. It's your old subconscious grabbing at normalcy. Ergo, it's the act of eating and not the food that I present to you. All those things the body once felt, pain, hunger, cold or hot, even the desires of the flesh are things of the past. Now it's only the spirit that remains and perhaps could use a bit of normalcy.
Then why does she hurt so?
It's her wound, I expect.
You just said that our bodies can't feel.
Then the wound must be deep indeed. Shall I take the soup, sir?
Leave it. Maybe I'll try your normalcy. What have you got in the packet?
This? Oh, just something to pass the time.
No, thank you. I've learned my lesson after the last enchantment you did here.
The cards. Is that why she's up and gone? Suppose you were up to some shenanigans then.
I did not cheat!
All right. I was only poking. I'll take them back.
Porter goes to clean up the game.
Wait, leave them, please.
The
Thank
porter
you.
does.
You'll want to pack them up when you're finished, though. You wouldn't want to misplace one. Spend an eternity without a full deck is a recipe for something. I'll leave you to it then.
The porter starts to leave.
Oh, Porter,
Yes?
how long have you been here?
Fair bit.
Yes, but how long?
You needn't trouble yourself with that. Ta.
Romeo sees the book,
What is this?
calls to the porter,
Or
but the porter is gone. Romeo considers the book. Juliet enters again, and this time she sees Romeo, stops. She decides she will have something to eat. She crosses to the tray, pours herself a drink from the carafe, and takes her glass and her bowl to eat, as far away from Romeo as she can. Romeo watches her for a moment, then gets his own bowl and glass. He sits next to her, and he eats in silence.
You're eating?
Well,
You never usually eat.
yes, but I always used to.
You said the food here tasted like metal.
It's fine.
I just don't see why you're eating it if it revolts you.
Maybe I want to eat with you.
Why?
You're my wife, and a husband eats with his wife.
Why?
Normal. It's what normal people do. They eat, they talk.
There's a beat while they attempt some normalcy.
Are you still angry?
No.
Good.
I wasn't angry before either.
You weren't?
No, I was scared.
We'll figure this out. All
I don't really think that's possible.
we will. Trust me.
I do.
She leans into him, and he throws a comforting arm around her. It's maybe their first tender moment.
Enough to flip that card?
Don't spoil this for me.
And Juliet holds him now. This is how things should be. He kisses her head tenderly. It's nice. Nice enough for another kiss. He pulls away and lifts her face to his.
What are you doing?
What?
What are you doing?
I was coming to kiss you.
I just asked you to not ruin the moment.
How does that ruin the moment? That was the moment.
And what gave you that impression?
I think I can tell when we were about to have a moment. Had them before, you know.
I'm aware.
And you were sort of
Sort of what?
setting up signals.
What sort of signals?
The I'm ready signals.
Is that what you call them?
It's what everyone calls
By everyone, you mean your friends.
it. Oh, why are you? You body softens. You lean into it, and the corner of your mouth starts to look like you're covering up a smile. Your breathing changes.
My breathing changes.
Yes, you hold your breath before you kiss me.
So anytime my breathing slows down, I can expect you to attack me?
You clearly wanted me to kiss you.
I most clearly did not.
Okay, then can we work out some kind of a system or something?
For what? We have to be able to snuggle without you expecting things to, you know.
You know?
Yes,
I know what.
stop it.
No, you can't even say it.
Yes, I can.
But you didn't. When did you become so shy?
I've always been shy.
Not since I've known you.
You see, this is what I was so scared about. Maybe we were wrong. Maybe we did something stupid.
It wasn't stupid. It was simply bad luck. Had I heard from the friar, had I known what you had planned.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about us.
Us?
Us. We're kids. We met 6 days ago. People everywhere are going to look back on us and they're going to laugh. And they'd be right too. Who gets married 24 hours after meeting someone?
Juliet, I love you.
How can you say that? You don't even know me.
Sure I do.
Who is my closest friend? What secrets do I carry? Oh, what do I do for fun?
Since I've known you? I don't want to make you blush, but
Shut up.
I'm serious. Who cares what you used to do for fun? We know we belong to each other. You're the most beautiful woman in the world.
Look around you. I'm the only woman in the world.
Julie, can we just step back for a moment and take a breath?
I guess we'd better. I don't want you trying to kiss me.
Just for a moment, please. You're upset. You're not being yourself.
How would you know? Maybe this is me. Maybe when we met, I was someone else for 72 hours. Maybe I was crazy.
You weren't crazy. You were in love. Well, at least I was in love with you. From the moment I saw you, I knew I had to have you.
That's not love. That's only attraction.
Well, attraction is very important. Come on, tell me you weren't attracted to me.
Of course I was. Why else do you think I behaved like such an idiot?
Oh, wow, that is so.
Don't choose to be hurt.
Whoa, why would I be hurt? What kind of egotistical monster would take offense at being called a stupid mistake?
Are you always like this?
Like what?
I don't know. Explosive, rude.
Can we just... Wow, I'm not... Okay, it is hard for me to know how to read you.
Really?
Yeah, really. 1 minute you're up in arms about a stupid game, the next you're all over me, and now you're...
What?
No,
Say it.
no way.
Just say it.
Don't push me, I swear.
the matter? Now there's a word that you won't say?
This is a trap. You're trying to trap me.
You got a name for me? Say it. Don't be such a coward.
Damn it, Harpy! An infernal plague upon my very soul!
Plague to your very soul.
No,
Go thy ways.
Julie, would you just...
Go thy ways. I do desire we may be better strangers.
They square off. No one dares move until Romeo does. He turns away from her and walks off left. She watches him go, waits for the music to start, and she leaves, off right. The stage is empty, save for the music. The lights begin to fade. Before they go out completely, the couple enters from the opposite sides of the stage from which they left. The two see each other, and they stop, only to see the lights fade to black on their courtship. Act 1, Scene 3. She loves me lot. The music fades and the lights come up. Time has passed. How much time? Well, enough to douse the flames, yet still enough to stoke the embers. Time moves funny in here. Romeo enters. He brings with him the book that the porter had left. Juliet enters opposite. She carries with her an instrument. They square off. After a time, they pass each other.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
They each set up on opposite sides of the stage, marking their territory. Juliet with her instrument and maybe a pillow to lean on, and Romeo with his book, a pillow, a pen, and some ink.
Is this all right?
It's fine.
She begins to play, and she continues to play throughout. Romeo gets comfortable and sets up his area to read.
I didn't want to disturb your writing.
Reading.
Oh, it looked like you were writing.
Just notes here and there.
Seems to hold your attention.
What's that?
It just seemed like you've been reading for weeks now. I don't see you doing anything else.
Passes the time. Boy, what's that you're playing?
It's nothing.
The porter enters with a large bottle of ink. He passes Juliet on the way to Romeo.
Good evening, milady.
Good afternoon, Porter.
The porter crosses Romeo with a sense of strained stealth.
Afternoon, sir.
Morning.
I've more ink, sir.
Romeo continues to read.
You've read this.
Pardon?
I'm assuming you've read this.
I have.
This is a joke.
No, sir. Well, there are some funny bits, but that's life now, isn't it?
They begin an intense conversation, but covered up so that Juliet doesn't overhear them.
It's my life, our life, writ small as a drama.
Aye. It is a chronicle of all our lives, the interesting parts anyway. Those fit for writing down. I thought it might lend some perspective, some context to your current situation with the lady. You seem to have reached a rocky point. Does it not please?
Meddler.
That I am.
And the others?
I'm sorry?
It's more than just Juliet and me. There must be close to 40 others in here. Dramas, comedies, and the like.
Quite nearly, yes.
And all of them are true?
As true as you or I. Near as I can figure.
My guess is you figure better than you let on.
Aye, sir. No, sir. You have a strange look about you.
You've seen them.
Who?
The others, you've seen them.
I haven't.
Oh, come now, Porter. These pages are strewn with the bodies of the dead.
Aye, but I...
And from what I've read, none too few of them were early like us, and who else but you has been called to usher them on?
He sees a change in the porter's demeanor.
Ah, so you have seen.
He opens the book and he nearly shoves it in the porter's face.
This one. Her. You seen her?
Yes. Yes, I've seen where she dwells.
Here.
Here, yes, but elsewhere.
Do this for me.
He tears the open page out.
No, that's precious. It's our sole copy.
Well, then, it should bear a copy of my soul.
He rips out the next page and folds the two of them together.
Take these. My words written next to hers. See that she gets it, and bring me news of how she takes it.
What end, sir?
What end? Kindness is the end. If she is here, she is alone. Alone as... It is a kindness for her and a kindness to me. Take it.
The porter takes it, but he drops it, and then picks it up as gingerly as possible as he speaks. Romeo stashes the book inside or under his pillow.
I'll take your missive, sir.
I'll take your missive, sir. She is indeed alone, as she should be.
Go. Is not your office to take things to and fro?
Aye, it is. Look you, no good shall come of this. You're just borrowing trouble.
With that, the porter leaves, but Romeo is full of energy. He checks his pulse, and he goes for a run to nowhere.
Bless you, Porter. I'll be back presently.
Indeed, sir. So shines a good deed in a naughty world.
Romeo leaves. Juliet's music continues to play. Romeo's burst of energy has probably caught her eye. Porter pauses to listen while Juliet sings.
Great while ago the world began, with a hey-ho, the wind and the rain. With that song won, our play is done, and we'll strive to please you every day. With the rain it raineth every day. With the rain it raineth every day.
That's a lovely tune, milady.
Oh, thank you.
It sounds a sad note, doesn't it?
Nay, I find it a comfort. The rain is something that comes whether we will it or no, and brings much good when it does so.
She stops playing.
I miss the rain.
I'm glad to be done with it myself. I don't miss how it bunches and binds the knickers.
I wouldn't know.
Yes, well.
She notices the paper in the porter's hands. The porter, picking up her attention, runs some interference.
Hey, is that something you made here, milady, or something from...
I heard it once on 12th night, and the melody stayed with me. I thought I might work it out since now we have this abundance of time.
An abundance, yes. I see you've made great progress with that.
Yes, it's been a comfort to pass the time. I always thought my hands were too clumsy. Turns out I was just impatient.
'Tis the way, milady. Can I get you...
No. No, thank you.
Very good, milady.
The porter starts to leave.
Porter,
Yes, milady?
what was it that it took up so gingerly just now?
Nothing?
Well, then why did you stoop?
To pick up a paper I let fall.
And is that paper nothing?
Nothing concerning me.
Thank you, Porter.
Yes, milady.
The porter exits left, leaving Juliet alone. Romeo enters, upstage, still mid-jog. He stops, does a set of push-ups, and returns to his feet. Juliet catches his eye, and with a civil smile, they acknowledge each other. Romeo jogs off again. With Romeo off, Juliet now must act quickly. She knows what she is looking for, but she's afraid to find it. She hurries over to Romeo's area. She uncovers the book. With a look over her shoulder, she dives in. At first, she finds nothing, but soon comes across the torn pages. She reads what remains surrounding them. Then she hears footsteps returning and decides she'll keep the book for herself. She hustles over to her spot. She slips the book behind her own pillow. Romeo enters and checks his pulse. Once satisfied, he starts doing some push-ups.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
How was your day?
My what?
Your day. How was it?
Same as always.
How is nothing coming along?
What?
Your writing. You said it was nothing. How's it coming along?
Oh, my reading. Oh, it's fine, I suppose. Right.
That word. Fine.
What about it?
It's funny. That's all.
What's funny about it? It's fine.
That's just it. It used to be that we would say, a knight well spoken, neat and fine, or some mistress fine. Now, when I ask about your work, you say, it's fine.
What? It's fine.
He starts doing push-ups again.
You've been writing a lot.
Reading. I have.
How was your jog?
It was fair.
I'm sorry, it's just fair, you know.
Yes.
Romeo stops and checks his pulse.
Still dead?
Still dead.
Why do you do it? Exercise?
I might be dead, but most of my body doesn't know it yet. Gives me time to think. Makes me feel like I'm doing something.
You look good.
Yes, I'm the healthiest dead man for months.
With the conversation over, Romeo starts to search for his book, but he cannot find it, and it puzzles him.
Everything all right?
Has the porter been around while I was gone?
Who's Ophelia?
Who?
Ophelia,
I
please. I have your book. Her name's writ here. Enter Ophelia. And then there are pages torn out, and her name appears once here as she exits. And then there, next to it, something else. In your hand. My heart.
She offers him the book, but it's poison.
You took it?
Yes, I am a horrible person. I read through your things. We've just been here for so long, and you've become so quiet, so very far away from me. I wanted to know your mind.
She still holds the book out, almost daring him to take it.
How could you?
Because I knew you weren't just reading. You've been writing, and from the looks of this, you've been writing to her. How long?
I'm
Caught. Yes. So please, be a man and admit it to me. How long have you harbored these thoughts?
She drops the book at his feet, but he leaves it there.
Who is she then? Tell me that.
She's no one. I've never even seen her. They just notes.
Don't play with the language. They're letters.
Fine, letters, but they're nothing.
No one. Nothing. That's all you ever say anymore. It's just, there's no one else here besides the porter, and he's never mentioned anyone. But then I saw him pick up one of your papers and take it.
He did.
And it looked rather secret.
I bet it did.
He didn't say anything, but he's not a good liar.
No, I suppose he hasn't had much practice.
I suppose not. Is she like us?
How so?
Was she early as well?
Did she take her own life?
Yes. I thought that was how, I mean, the only way a person could end up here. She's not no one. Not to you. Is she?
There is a moment while great decisions are made. Romeo picks up the book more lovingly than he should.
I should answer you.
How do you mean?
The porter enters.
You think I've been unfaithful?
No.
You do. But let me tell you this.
Please, Romeo. Know that I.
Too well. Much, much too well how you must see me now. A rogue, a cheat, unfaithful. Whatever answer I deliver you, no matter if it shall be fair or foul, shall fester like a stained blot upon my soul, and like a poisonous cancer in your thoughts, infect my reputation till it rots.
This is too much for her. With a heavy heart, she goes away.
Was that entirely necessary?
Yes.
I thought it a trifle.
Cruel?
Yes,
Well then, so it is.
but not as it used to be. Not with her. It's not like you.
There was no fixing that. I'm a monster now. What do they say about our Scottish king?
He picks up the book.
This tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest.
Aye, but hardness ever of hardness is mother.
Hardiness.
What's that?
It's hardiness, not hardness. Plenty and peace breeds cowards. Hardness ever of hardiness is mother.
Is that what it says? Huh.
Yes, it changes the meaning significantly.
Doesn't make it any less true, does it? You've read that one too, then.
Yes, several times.
Several.
Several times, several. I've read them all. Our lives were small. The lives of so many, all different, yet just like us.
What was that row all about?
Can you guess?
Given enough time, I probably could. And seeing as how we got loads of that, I'll give it a go. You forgot something.
No.
You remembered something.
No.
She remembered something that you forgot that you were supposed to remember.
No. Stop. She knows. About her bad feeling.
Oh, and she then.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon it was only a matter of time.
A matter of time. She invaded my privacy.
Privacy. Now, there's a word we don't use much around here. Could you not consider her position even a little?
No. I never rifled through her things looking for secrets.
Because the lady hasn't any secrets. She has no things to keep private from you. She can't fathom any reason for it. So when she sees you keeping them yourself, well, that's a box for Pandora, that is.
Are not even my thoughts my own? Surely I have a right to them.
Right. Ha! There's no room for lawyer talk in marriage, boy. Can your knees keep a secret from your feet? I only ask because if you're going to become one flesh and all,
We're people, not a metaphor.
I wouldn't be so certain of that. Really, ask yourself, why is keeping your thoughts to yourself so important to you? Go on, ask.
Why is it important to have my own thoughts?
Don't ask me, ask yourself.
Okay, well, for starters, I wouldn't want to hurt her.
Two questions then. Why does hurting her even matter?
What?
Well, she's her own person. She's not your flesh. Why does her pain matter to you at all?
Because I love her.
Do you? Well then, question 2. If you love her, where did these come from? Why are the words of your heart pouring into some hapless girl you've never met?
Because,
It's a tougher one than it sounds, isn't it?
oh, that. I'm a person, and a person can't help what they think.
No, I can answer that. But they can control where those thoughts go. But you've not given any heed to where they wander. You've been stuffing them into these letters and such, chucking them away in the back corners of your mind, thinking they'd be safest there. Why? Because you don't know what they really are. And now that you've been caught with your hand in the cookie cabinet, now they scare you. You're terrified that these words that you penned are the final sentence in your brief, miserable marriage.
Yes.
And I say, that's not love.
How dare you? I loved her from the moment I saw her.
Oh, like you did with Rosalind. Like when you read about Ophelia.
No.
How
no.
is it different then?
Because I cannot live without her.
That's not love.
Then I don't know what it is.
It's the giving of yourself. The purer it is, the more wholly you give. It's your body, your soul, even your secret thoughts that you hide from everyone.
I don't want her to hate me.
Lies.
How dare you?
Go ahead. Get angry. Let's hear the roar. No? Didn't think so? You'd love for her to hate you. Then you can rage with impunity, convince yourself that it's her fault, that you've been unfaithful.
I haven't.
Well, I call shenanigans on that too.
They're just words on paper. Ophelia doesn't even know I exist.
As if that matters.
I've done nothing wrong.
Only because you think that unfaithfulness is something you do instead of something you are. Boys, always looking at the symptoms and never at the root. It's here that matters, boy. Here and here. What happens down there is just consequences.
Ha!
Come now.
No, because it doesn't work like you say. You can't separate your head and your heart from your... What did you call it?
Your consequences.
Consequences, yes, because they were all connected. I wouldn't have even seen her at that party if consequences hadn't pointed me in her direction. But since we came here, her body just withers at my touch. Lately, I can't get near her. I can't even look like I'm getting near her without her pulling away. It's like she's afraid of me. Try separating that from here and here. A wife's revulsion at her husband's touch. And now I've murdered our love with these damn papers. Oh, goodly friar, 'twere better now to be banished than sentenced to her side.
Just a porter, sir.
What?
You called me friar just now.
I didn't.
I bet you did. Got a little carried away, methinks. You haven't had a friar down here in a dog's age. Not that we'd have much use of it. Nothing to fry, for one. No oil here, neither. Although I've heard tell of folks frying things with the air, which, come to think of it, we ain't got neither.
You're playing with me.
I am. You're not thinking straight. You're poisoned.
The apothecary's drugs were quick.
No, this is one you've brewed yourself, and it's nearly run its course.
What are you talking about?
When you found her laying in that tomb as cold as death, you thought, I'll take my life. This will be my final act, the grandest gesture of love that the world has ever seen.
You're mad.
And you're a damned fool.
There's a beat, and Juliet enters, but she's unseen by either of them.
That wasn't love. It was covetousness, through and through, the 10th and last of God's commandments. I need that to make me happy. Can't possibly live if I don't have that. You dress it up as noble because that was a woman, and there's a bit of poetry involved, but you're not loved her. You've coveted her. If you knew anything about it, you'd be sitting here in your self-indulgent guilt while that poor girl, your wife, is about to enter eternity alone.
You know nothing of it.
Oh, don't I? What do you think this place is? Who do you think our guests are? Early arrivals, all of them, but precious few for love.
Love is how I ended up here.
Love! Couldn't be further from it. Love has hope. Love bears all things. Yes, there's a few who felt a grief as deep as yours, but do not be deceived. That was despair, boy. The devil's playground. Despair don't owe you nothing and could care less if you live or die. She plays both ends of the game because either way she wins. Your sorrow, that's food to her. Your death, even better. And once she finds a home in your soul, she grows and spreads to all who know you. When you took your life, you took it for yourself. You paid the ultimate price. Breath in your lungs, the blood in your veins, not for that lady you call your wife, but for you. That is the poison you sip so greedily. That's why you're looking to those letters and not your wife for comfort. Since you both arrived, you expected her to live up to the sacrifice you made, and she can't. It's too great a burden for her, for anyone. You say there's no love anymore. Well, you're right, but that's only because you didn't bring any of it with you.
The porter sees Juliet at the same moment, and he realizes he may have overstepped his bounds.
Begging your pardon, my lady. My lord, I should take my leave.
Yes, I think you should.
The porter exits. Romeo stands.
Came back.
I did. I didn't really have a place to go, though.
Much of that do you hear?
All of it.
I don't know. I'm lost.
I know.
This is hard.
I know. And we haven't even really begun.
What do we do? How do we move on from this?
Juliet crosses to the deck of cards, still laying there from the game before. She crosses back to Romeo and offers it to him.
Flip the card.
I don't want to.
Do it. We're not moving on. We're starting over. Here. Now.
And if you lose again?
I don't know.
Will you have me, wretch that I am?
I will. Will you have me, a damned harpy with a broken body?
As long as we both, as long as we have each other.
Here.
Romeo takes the top card, but before he can look, Juliet grabs his hand, removes the card, and she tears it, slowly, in two, in four, in eight. She lets the pieces scatter to the ground.
Well, you know I didn't cheat.
I'll know because I'll believe it so.
Lights out. Music. End of Act 1. Thank you, everybody. We're now going to take a 10-minute break. We will be back in exactly 10 minutes. Hello, everyone. Hope you had a good intermission and are sufficiently ready to begin Act 2. To Act 2 of STARCROSSED by Michael Carey. Act 2, Scene 1. Fighting the good fight. The light returns, and Romeo and Juliet have not moved. How much time has passed, though, is unknowable, but it is longer than anyone is about to admit.
Thank you.
For what? I just ruined any card game we ever wanted to play.
I don't think cards are a thing.
No, I don't think they are.
You okay?
I'm tired.
Me too. Should we sit?
Romeo crosses to a sitting place.
No, we should resolve this.
He stops in his tracks.
Before we sit?
Yes, we can't let whatever just happened.
Our fight?
It wasn't a fight.
Sounds like a fight.
Whatever it was, we can't let it just keep happening. And I feel like if we sit, we are in some small way saying that it's okay.
Okay.
No, it's not.
I know. I'm saying okay to you.
Oh,
Okay?
yes. If you like.
Romeo breaks the tension and relaxes a little bit. Juliet also follows suit.
I've never had a fight before.
Never. We fight all the time. Oh,
Obviously.
what's that supposed to mean?
Well, you're not exactly even-tempered.
Your brothers and sisters never pushed you far enough to snap?
No,
Ever.
I haven't any. That's why I'd always wanted a large family.
You've no siblings at all? How do I not know this?
Well, we didn't exactly spend our time together talking.
Romeo takes a seat.
Well, I mean, I suppose you're right.
Don't sit down.
Whoa!
Don't sit.
Why?
We're still fighting.
Yes, right, I forgot. Wait, you said...
Shut up.
All right.
How do we do this? You're the expert.
Do what?
How do we resolve a fight?
I'm not sure I'm the right person to ask.
I'm not any better. I've never done this before. How did you end your last fight?
Well, I picked up his dagger and I stabbed him until he stopped moving.
Oh,
And then I stabbed him again several times.
I forgot.
I know.
Oh, this is terrible. Ugh.
Hey. I'm sorry. How else to process it? I don't handle conflict well.
Again, obviously. I don't either.
Surely you had that fought with your nurse. How would you handle that?
I'd tell my parents and they'd give me what I wanted. Yes. Not a bad system, really. I don't want to fight anymore.
You might not be able to avoid it.
Romeo,
Yes.
do you hate me?
No.
Did you? A moment ago when you saw me with your book?
I don't think so.
You were so angry.
I was.
So was I. I think I hated you.
I know.
I mean, really, really hated you.
You're right. It's understandable.
It's not. We're talking about hate here. If I knew how to hit something, I would have hit you hard. How can this be what it's like?
What is like?
Marriage, eternity, the whole thing.
She sits.
You're sitting?
I'm thinking, and besides, we made up.
When?
Just now, before. But seriously, how does anyone do any of it? It seems unreasonable to ask someone who's barely figured out who they are to become something else for someone they don't even know. And to do it forever? I mean, I can't live my life with you if I'm just going to hate you, can I? That can't be what this is.
I want to apologize.
Don't.
Why not?
Because I already forgave you, and if you keep apologizing, you keep giving me opportunities to take it back. I can't handle it. I'm scared.
I'm scared too.
Really?
Terrified. I don't know what I would do if you left, but I also can't think of a single reason for you to stay.
I can.
Yes?
Yes, but just one. I promised to stay, no matter what.
I'm sorry.
Okay, but that's the last one you get for this. Deal?
Deal.
You said there wasn't any love here.
I did. But the porters seem to think it's because we didn't bring any with us.
We better get to making some of our own.
He takes her hand.
Maybe that is what marriage is. Hating someone while you love them.
Or because you love them.
Don't leave. I promise I won't.
You can't go anywhere.
So it should be an easy promise to keep.
You realize I might not ever be able to. We may never be able to make.
I know.
I just don't think I can. It hurts too much.
We can figure something out. We've got all of eternity.
Yes.
It's just the two of us.
They embrace. Lights begin to fade as the music builds. But it's all cut short because the porter enters, arms full of potted plants. 4 to be exact. He carries them with an exaggerated care.
Oh, there. Watch yourself.
The porter hands off a couple of plants to Romeo, who accepts them with an open-mouthed bewilderment.
What?
Careful there. You don't want to drop them. Support the stalks now. And these, milady, are for you.
He
What
drops the
are
plants gently in Juliet's arms.
The
what are
stalks.
these?
Don't. Just be a moment. I can't leave the rest for too long.
And with an excited hop, the porter's off again, singing to himself.
Go rest.
No idea. Though this be madness,
There's method in it.
Romeo sets his plants down upstage just as the porter enters again with 3 more plants. He sees the abandoned plants and rushes over.
Don't leave them, are you daft?
I was about to ask you the same question.
The porter hands the 3 plants he was carrying to Romeo so he can scoop up the previous 2. He bounces them and coos affectionately as if to an infant.
There, this is all new to him. He didn't mean anything by it. Shh.
When the plants are sufficiently soothed, the porter hands them off to the couple.
what is this?
Shh. Don't wake them. They've had a time of it today.
Oh, yes, of course.
She begins to rock them instinctively.
They're plants. Plants don't sleep.
Of course they do.
While not a slumber like you nor I, a plant still maintains a circadian rhythm, resting at night, awakening to the day.
See, they sleep.
No, they don't. You know how I know? Because they're plants.
Romeo, in his fervor, drops the smallest of his plants, purely by accident, but that hardly matters.
No!
The pot is shattered. The plant and soil scatter across the floor. After a shocked silence, Juliet hands off her plants to an overburdened porter and scoops up the downed plant in her arms.
Oh, no, 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 no.
It's just a... Shh.
I can fix it. We can, I can fix it.
I'm afraid I can't see that one making it very, very far, my dear.
There's something we can do. There has to be something.
Okay, I think we should listen to them.
Porter, you've some string? Some fabric?
I may, but
Fetch me some.
my lady.
Fine.
She gets up with the plant in her hand and she carefully makes her way off.
Can I help
Mind the children. See that they're kept safe.
the children?
Mind them.
And she's out. The two men are left alone with the foliage.
What do you think she's doing?
What mothers do. Everything in her power.
The children. These plants,
Yes,
what do we do with them?
they're yours.
Ours.
Yes,
There are 7 of them.
yes,
7 plants.
yes.
That is a lot, isn't it?
Not as many as some.
But more than most.
Yes.
But we don't know anything about plants.
No.
And now we have 7 of them,
Yes.
all at once.
It appears so.
Why is she? I mean, they're just things.
Yes and no. More yes than no. It's them thermodynamics again at play again.
Tell me that, what now?
Perhaps it's best explained like this. They are psychological holographic manifestations of your subconscious baggage from the other side of the veil.
And that's the best way you've thought to explain these things.
Well, it's difficult. You've heard the phrase, you can't take it with you? Well, it's not just a matter of philosophy here, it's the law. There's nothing here that exists in the same way we knew it before.
So they're not real.
Oh, they are. Extraordinarily real, as a matter of fact. How else would you explain you and your lady friend? Potentiality. What might have been. Potential energy cannot be destroyed. But because of a whole assortment of very complicated maths some Englishmen worked out, it just transforms and its ripples, saints preserve us, find their way here.
So you're saying these plants are...
Juliet enters with a bandaged, broken plant. She carries it with all the care of a mother of many children who knows that things will be all right for her baby because she's willed it so.
Our children.
See? She's got it right away.
But there's 7.
Yes. I always wanted a big family.
Is it?
She.
Is she going to be all right?
Yes. She'll grow big and strong, just like her brothers.
Brothers.
They have your leaves, love.
Thank you.
Romeo sits to take this all in.
Okay, this is all a little much.
The porter sets his load of plants around Romeo.
I'll just leave it to you then. Fine crop you've got there. Fine crop indeed.
Juliet doesn't take her eyes off of her little one.
Thank you.
The porter excuses himself and leaves. The couple is left in silence with their new family. Romeo watches his wife transform before his eyes into a mother. Surrounded by this new responsibility, he has a realization.
Huh.
Hmm?
So much for the rest of eternity with just the 2 of us.
Lights fade. Act 2, Scene 2. Married with Plants. Juliet's voice sings in the darkness, accompanied by the gentle sound of a hammer pounding nails into wood.
Blow, blow, thou winter winds. Thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude. Thy tooth is not so keen, because thou art not seen, although thy breath be rude.
The lights come back up. Romeo is pounding the final nails into a wood panel. driving it into a wagon that is him and are slightly larger than they were. That is, most of them. The injured plant is the same size, and it sits by Juliet, who is singing softly as she tends the soil.
Hey ho, sing hey ho, unto the green holly. Most friendship is feigning, most loving mere folly. Then hey ho, the holly.
You think I can hear you?
I'm sure she can. Well, she could if you weren't pounding all morning.
Almost finished. I just need.
He leaves, muttering and figuring to himself. Juliet hums her song. As she hums, she gently unwraps the bandage around the plant. It starts to come apart, but she catches it in time and quickly rebinds it.
Not just yet. Soon you'll be strong enough.
She resumes her song, more determined than before.
Freeze, freeze, thou bitter sky that does not bite so nigh, as benefits forgot. Though thou the waters warp, thy sting is not so sharp, as friend remembers not. Hey ho, sing hey ho, unto the green holly. Most friendship is feigning, most loving mere.
The porter enters, carrying a crate with a small wagon wheels crusting over the top.
Oh, don't let me interrupt you, milady.
Oh, it's no bother. We were just singing together, weren't we?
How's she faring, milady?
Quite well. She's getting stronger every day.
That's happy news, that is. Is your lord about?
My lord, that's new. Yes, I assume he can't be far. What have you got there?
Oh, just some who's-its that he's asked for.
Hmm.
He's been busy, he has.
Yes, he's plunged himself into all manner of projects. I barely see him anymore.
Romeo pops back in with 2 wooden dowels. These will serve as axles for the wagon.
Hey, there you are. And you brought them.
I have, my lord. What I could, that is.
Porter offers the crate to Romeo, who takes it. Romeo holds 2 of the wheels up.
Ah, you're perfect. Thank you.
He immediately goes to work assembling the rest of the wagon, which does not appear to be the most solid of vehicles.
Of course, sir. Will you be needing anything else, sir?
I think we should be good. Thank you.
My lady says you've been working on some other projects.
Yes, I'm a man. Inspired.
Tell him about the house.
The house?
I built a house.
What? Here?
Oh, just over there.
That's a house, is it?
Well, a greenhouse.
A greenhouse?
Yes, for the plants.
In a place that has no sun?
I told you.
Romeo finishes the wagon and sets it over on its wheels.
No, but there's the potential for sun, isn't there?
Well, in a manner of speaking, I guess.
See, he guesses. What do you think?
The 2 are a little lost for words.
Well,
You don't like it.
I didn't say that.
It's great. Watch.
Romeo drives the wagon in a circle. The wagon doesn't enjoy it very much, and a small piece falls off as he drives.
And what is it for, my lord?
What is it? What is it for? What is it for?
Yes, my lord. Begging your pardon, but it's not like there's really a need for.
We can do all sorts of things with it. We can put our things in it.
There's a pause while everyone realizes how little there are in the way of things.
I think
We can put the plants in it. The whole lot of it.
all of them.
Here, watch.
Romeo starts piling the plants into the wagon.
But there just doesn't seem to be that much room.
There's plenty.
But is it safe?
Safe? I built this with my own 2 hands. Of course it's safe.
Romeo gives the wagon a good jostle. There's a tense moment, but then nothing happens.
Well,
See? Perfectly safe.
Romeo finishes loading up the plants, except for the injured one.
Give me the little one.
Oh, I don't know.
We'll just do a quick little loop. I'm taking the rest of them. I can't go far. Just ask the porter.
Well, I don't think it's my.
Oh, shut up.
You can't talk to him that way.
Not really, milady. He's not wrong.
What do you know about it anyway?
Give it to me.
I just don't think she's ready.
It's never going to get stronger if you just coddle it all the time. It'll be fine. It can handle a little right.
You don't know what she can handle.
Oh, come on.
You don't. You're not here with her enough to know.
What's that supposed to
I hardly see you anymore.
I'm right here. There's nowhere I can go around here that you can't see me.
Well, your body's here, but you're a million miles away. You're just pouring yourself into these insane projects.
I've got to do something.
But you never stop.
I'm building things for them.
I don't care if you're building a whole world if you're never around to share it with them.
We literally have eternity.
Well, technically, there's.
Oh, shut up, Porter.
Porter excuses himself from the conversation and sits down.
You're not going to let me take it.
No,
You don't trust me.
I do. No, she's just so weak, so fragile that I
Yeah. Start seeing me as your partner in all of this.
I do. Yes,
No,
I
I've been invisible since. All you see is the guy who dropped the. You know what? Fine, forget it. I can only say sorry so many times. Let's go.
He grabs the wagon and pulls it behind him, and Romeo leaves. The porter is at a loss, just sitting there.
I know.
The porter gives Juliet a look.
I know.
And another look.
I know.
With that last phrase, she comes over and sits down next to the porter.
Glad we had this talk.
The porter rises and crosses to start to leave.
A porter,
Yes.
thank you
For what, milady?
for listening.
No need of thanks.
But thanks, I have. It's a lonely world, this. Stay. I prithee,
Milady,
please.
don't.
What?
Look for companionship where none lies. It's a primrose path to destruction, that is. You must always remember this. I'm not your friend. I'm not your confidant. I'm your porter. I'm not where you need to be. I only get you there.
Yes. Yes, you're right. To and fro and all that.
Indeed, Mum. By your leave.
He starts to go once more.
Wait, please. What do I do?
I really don't have much in the way of experience with love, milady.
Then make something up.
Milady.
Make it up. That's all any of us are doing anyway. Not one of us has the faintest clue what's going on. One day I wasn't married, and then the next I was. Or was I? It's not like there was much in the way of a ceremony, really, just prayers and incense and hands pressed against hands. A forest fire could do as much. I was 14, for God's sake. I wasn't prepared for any of this. Maybe if we'd waited until we figured out who we were before we tried forcing each other to become something we weren't. What was I thinking? Was I hoping for some magical transformation? At this rate, I'll be divorced long before I ever learn what it takes to be a wife, but that's all right because, well, I'm rather busy now figuring out how to be a what? I'm a what now? A mother? So yes, please make something up. It's got to be a far cry better than anything I'm doing now. Please.
She's exhausted. She sits with her youngest and tends to her.
Did I ever tell you the story of how I came to be here, Mum?
No, you haven't?
But I tell it to you now.
If you like.
See, I don't really. That's why I ask.
Well, then don't.
But see, it sort of applies.
Well, then just tell it.
Right you are. I'm glad you asked, but not really. But here it goes. Before I came here, I used to work for this couple. Very nice. They had their ways about them, but overall, good people.
Then why did you leave?
Ah, therein lies the tale. See, in the porter business, just starting out, what, mind you, you're looking for is not a lot of work for a whole lot of money. You follow me?
I think that's how it is in every field.
Fair enough, my lady. Anyways, like I said before, good couple, rich. Turns out they need a man, and I, having no other prospects, jumped in with my pants on, as they say. So they're young, they're happy, they have a whole world in front of them.
I don't see how this
Just listen.
relates.
They're happy, but they're not. Well, she's not. She couldn't care less about the servants, the castle, and all that, because what she wanted more than anything was a baby. Well, she prayed and she prayed and she prayed some more, but for years, nothing.
This is irrelevant. I'm completely.
Romeo enters with the wagon in tow. Are the plants a bit bigger? It just might be. Romeo crosses with the plants upstage, takes them back off again, pays the porter and Juliet no mind.
You're happy. Yes, I know. But I'm not done yet, am I?
Go on.
Gladly. Well, less than glad, but very good, Mum. Where was I?
She couldn't have children,
Yes,
and she prayed.
night and day she did. Some people told her to give up. Well, some other told her not to get her hopes up. There were some who spoke of women with arcane medicines capable of bringing about a healthy child. But my lady, she stayed true. And you will never guess what happened.
She got pregnant.
That was a very good guess. Yes, she got pregnant many times.
And had scores of babies.
No. She had one. Each time she would conceive, her body just refused to cooperate. She was determined, she was. It was enough to break an oak, but not her. She knew that if she was good, if she remained pure of heart, God would answer her prayer. And he did. He gave her a bonny wee lad. He became her everything. She never left his side. She would have moved a mountain stone by stone if the boy but blinked at it.
I thought this was a story about how you came to work here.
Here is this now, my lady. If you never hear another word from me, hear this. I said that boy became her everything, and she never left his side, and that was her undoing. He was a fearful boy, sensitive to sound, even as an infant, and he would wake up screaming in the night. My lady took to keeping him with her, at first in her chamber, and then in her bed. There he would lay, a picture of peace by his mother's breast. Never a sound would he make until morning, and she, being so used to his constant presence, his warmth up against her body, never realized that when she rolled over in the night, she pressed the very life out of him.
That poor woman.
That weren't even the worst of it.
How so? What could be worse than that?
When something becomes your everything, that everything is taken away, your world ends. You have to create a new one where something of that nature can never, ever happen again. And in that new world, whatever took your everything becomes your enemy. And it was only too clear to my lady that she and God stood on different sides now, and she would be damned before he ever got in her way again.
What happened?
Such things that if they were played upon a stage now, I could condemn them as an improbable fiction. But at the end, she took her own life. That's how I ended up here.
But that doesn't fadge. How do you get punished for something someone else did?
Because it wasn't someone else. I helped her do it. She was too weak, too frail, and I loved her very much. Her husband, great man, had become a monster. Both of them in a war with the Almighty. She had a moment towards the end where she looked at me, held my face in her ever bloody hands. She pleaded with me. And I didn't know how to make her whole. I settled for making her happy. It's a great shame it is. Greatest shame I bear.
So, were you early as well?
No, Mum. I lived out the rest of my days on the run, friend to no one after my lord was felled. Then when the great chime tolled for me, instead of going to or fro, the Almighty set me here, as caretaker of this place, till such time as he sees fit. My lady, she was like you. She didn't know what she was doing when she became a mum.
That is far from encouraging.
Neither did your mum. Or his mum. None mums know what they're doing. I'd say ask them, but mums are in short supply around here. The difference between my lady and most of the rest, that is the rest of them, the good ones, know the difference between a good thing and everything.
Romeo enters with the wagon again. It takes a seat upstage, leaving the porter and Juliet their privacy.
Thank you. Thank you for not making something up.
The porter stands.
If anyone's going to be making up anything, I think it'd be better with him, Mum. These little ones are going to need the both of you.
Or passes by Romeo as he leaves.
How was your walk?
Brief.
You look tired
I do.
in your face,
I have a tired face.
your eyes. I don't know.
Look.
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry. For before. I don't even have a right way of saying it.
Say it wrong then.
I don't trust you. I don't even know how to trust you. You see, that's the wrong way to say it, but I can't put the words in an order that doesn't hurt you or make me sound like what word did you use?
The word
A harpy. That's what you said, wasn't it? A harpy?
think I said damned heart.
Damned harpy. Yeah.
But yes, I do remember saying that.
Yes.
I'm sorry about that. I've been sorry about that.
No, they were the right words, just at the wrong time. So I'm sorry. for trying to control you, for being overprotective.
Thank you.
Did I hurt you?
Hello.
Sort of told me to.
Yeah, you're right. I did. So you let me take it with the others for a walk.
No,
Wait, you just
listen. I'm sorry for how I behaved, but it comes from how I am.
you can't be sorry for doing something, but still ongoing doing that something.
I know. I'm sorry. I know. Can you just listen for a moment?
Romeo
Sure.
sits.
Go ahead.
I think you're right. It's not fair that I don't trust you. You've worked very hard to prove you're in this with me.
Thank you.
But don't you think that most of this work just takes you away from us?
What's that supposed to mean?
The greenhouse took forever.
It was a complicated project. I gave the root.
But there's no sun here. Why would we need a greenhouse? The wagon? There's no way the little one can ride it. She's not strong enough.
Look, I don't know what you want.
I want this to be harder for you.
It is hard.
Physically, yes, I can see that. But the minute something emotionally difficult comes along, you're suddenly gabling a roof? This whole thing is ridiculous. I know, but it's what we have. I'm not even asking you to be good at it. God knows I'm not.
Oh, wow. Now you can swear.
That's not swearing. He knows that because I'm constantly on my knees asking him for help raising 7 houseplants, and his resounding answer over and over again is that he already gave me all the help I need in you.
If I'm an answer to prayer, then tell me what to do.
I want you to spend time with them.
I do spend time with them.
All of them. She's growing up without you. And she's not strong enough to do things like the wagon.
When it's older or stronger,
No, that's too late. It has to be now, and it has to be what's best for her.
There's a long silence while Romeo wrestles with his demons. He wants to leave, and he wrestles with whether to admit what's really going on.
I'm not like you.
How so?
I can't see them like you do. You see them all differently, like they're a part of you.
I do.
It's miraculous, but it's hard for me to even talk to them. I can't do it like you do.
I have an idea.
What is it?
Juliet gets the littlest one ready for story time, and then she grabs anything she might need for a walk, like a shawl or a cover for the plants in the wagon.
I'll take the big kids for a walk.
Well, what will I do?
You stay here with her.
But
Stay here and just tell her a story. Just let her know you're here and be gentle.
She crosses to the wagon and finishes getting everything ready.
what story?
I'm sure you can think of one. Let's go.
And she's out. She leaves Romeo left with the little one.
So, what sort of stories do you like?
There is no answer, nor will there ever be. Romeo walks off stage to see how far Juliet has gone, but then she's too far away to be of any service, and he gets a second wind. He crosses back and sits next to the littlest plant.
Okay, you know what? I have one. It's about a young girl who runs away to a great forest with her cousin. She's in danger, so she has to put on a disguise. Even her true love can't tell who she is. Meanwhile,
The lights fade down as Romeo tells a story, and they later come back up. Now he's in another story, and Juliet crosses with a group of even larger trees in the wagon. The little one is still the little one.
well, he's mad because he blames the prince for the death of his sister, and the prince is only too ready to fight. What the prince doesn't know is that the new king has plans of his own.
The
So,
lights fade down and come back up, and yet another story is in progress. Juliet unloads the now full-grown plants around the storytelling area. The older plants are leafy, the picture of health. The little one remains as it always was.
because he's the other twin, you see. But he thinks his sister died in the shipwreck, so when this beautiful countess approaches him, he's confused. but he's not going to let an opportunity like this get away.
You forgot about the Puritan.
Wait, I'm getting to that.
She likes the clowns, so don't forget when they.
I'm getting to it.
Lights go down and come back up. The tone is festive. Everyone's gathered all around. Even the porter is here.
So he tries to prove he's not afraid and sings a song about the birds of the forest, thus waking the fairy queen.
The finch, the sparrow, and the lark, the plain song cuckoo gray, whose note full many a turned up mark, and dares not answer nay.
I pray thee, gentle mortal, sing again.
The merriment is interrupted by a low, resonant chime. It doles out a note, and the porter freezes.
What was that?
I have no idea.
Porter?
Porter, are you all right?
Goes, oh dear,
Porter, what is it?
those are the chimes, they are. The chimes past midnight, Mum.
The chimes past midnight? I've always heard it as the chimes at midnight.
Aye. These aren't they.
What are these then?
These are the chimes you hear past midnight.
I feel like we're in a bit of a circle here.
What's the matter?
Porter, don't cry. Just tell us what's wrong.
I don't usually get this way with the others. The one thing they told me when I was given this job is don't get involved.
Don't get. Just tell us what has got you so upset.
No man is an island entire of itself. Each is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. Each man's death diminishes me, for I am involved in mankind, therefore send not to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee.
How strange. The great chimes. A death knell?
Aye. The appointed time has come.
What does that mean? That tolls for me. My time has come.
Nay,
Romeo turns to Juliet, who is shocked into silence.
My love? No, 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 no. No, it can't be her time yet. Say it isn't true.
it isn't true.
The porter fixes his eyes on the littlest plant, whose stalk has finally fallen. Romeo and Juliet follow his eyes, and the truth becomes all too clear. Porter picks up the fragile, broken plant for them both to see. They have the wind knocked out of them as they see their broken child.
It tolls for thee.
Slowly, Juliet sinks to the ground, and she is met there by her husband. The porter hands them the littlest one and takes a step back to allow the proper distance. The lights go down, and they stay down for a bit. Act 2, Scene 3. Good night, sweet princess. The lights come back up on a much different scene. There are 6 full-grown plants. They're now lined up in 2 rows like a set of columns leading upstage to a funeral bier on which the littlest one is being laid. There may be small plants like grandchildren around some of the large ones. Juliet rises to address the gathered.
Grief fills the room of my absent child. Lies in her bed. Walks up and down with me. Puts on her pretty looks. Repeats her words. Remembers me of all her gracious parts. Stuffs out her vacant garments with her form. Then have I reason to be fond of grief? A lamentable day. A woeful time. Death that hath ta'en her hence to make me wail ties up my tongue and it will not let me speak.
Romeo rises to his wife. He holds her and takes the front to say his piece.
Oh, to now be Prospero, with the power to open the grave and call you forth. But alas, my staff is broken, and my book is drowned. Dare I ask for a miracle, and like Leontes, touch your hand and find that, oh, she's warm? No, I've not the power to change our story. That power is God's, and it ill suits my selfish and unworthy hands. No, I'm more like to Adam than to God. He and I are now brothers in grief. Like him, your mother and I have become something new. We are not orphans or widows, for these trials, though painful, are the way of things, and there are many who have walked that path. Our pathway is desolate, save for a precious few, and those who walk it are creatures without a name. For Adam, God's name-giver, withheld his gift from the likes of us. He understood that there can be no name for those of us who must lay our children to rest. But what sounds could we use to mask the cracking of our hearts or the wailing of our souls? 'Tis I recall to my mind, therefore I have hope. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning, great is thy faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, saved my soul. Therefore will I hope in him. The Lord is good unto them that wait for him, to the soul that seeketh him. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord. It is good that he bear the yoke in his youth.
3 companions perform the funeral rites. When they are complete, the lights fade. The porter will take each plant away one by one. While he does, Juliet will cross to Romeo, take his hand, pull him in close, and plant a small, sweet kiss on his cheek. She'll place another on his forehead and another to his lips. It is the kiss of a wife to her husband, a life raft to a tempest-tossed soul. Act 1, Scene 4. Parting is such sweet sorrow. As the porter finishes, Juliet takes Romeo away from the altar, and the couple crosses to sit, as an older couple will, hand in hand on what can only be described as the porch of their interconnected souls. And there they sit, gazing into a never-ending twilight. They're in love. It's the real thing, the kind of love that can take a punch or two and come back smiling. And now the lights decide to warm on them. They will sit side by side, maybe a head resting on a shoulder as they walk through their pasts together.
You're quiet.
Hmm.
You're quiet.
Thinking
About what?
about lots of things. About us, about today.
What about it?
Got those new strings.
I put them in last night.
No, it should last a long time.
They will. My love, unclasp to me the book even of thy secret soul.
I just keep wondering if these things are better as surprises, or if it's better to know.
Think no more on it. Think about the night instead.
Which one?
About that first night. The night we met.
Yes. The birthday party at your father's house.
It wasn't a birthday.
Sure it was.
No, you forget.
Sure it was. There was an enormous cake and mulled wine and dancing.
It was an engagement party.
No,
Yes, it was. I should know.
it was engagement.
Mine, you owe.
Well, I don't remember any of that.
What do you remember?
Remember how you danced? I taught the torches to burn bright.
I remember how you kissed
How was that?
by the book.
Maybe.
You made me something. When did you have time to do this?
Romeo
Yeah,
rises to retrieve it.
I made a ton of nothing really.
He crosses to his hiding place and he removes a big sheaf of paper.
What is it?
Just something to pass the time.
He hands it to her and she begins to read.
Act 1, Scene 1. There is nothing, a blank void in darkness.
Keep reading.
But like a good theatrical blank void, it has some levels to it. On one particular level, about the size of a funeral bier, are the bodies of 2 star-crossed. Is this?
It's us. Well, our second chapter, where I can remember any.
She continues to flip through and read.
I thought you were reading all this time.
This time I was writing.
I love it.
You do? I put everything in there.
Everything? Even cards?
And cards.
I love it. I love all of it. And I love you.
The moment is interrupted by a chime. Romeo pulls away.
Wilt thou be gone? It is not yet near day. It was the nightingale, and not the lark, that pierced the fearful hollow of thine ear. Nightly she sings on yon pomegranate tree, but believe me, love, it was the nightingale.
It was the lark, the herald of the morn. No nightingale. Look, love, what envious streaks do lace the severing clouds in yonder east. Night's candles are burnt out, and jocund day stands tiptoe on the misty mountain tops.
Romeo pulls away from her and he walks left. The porter meets him there.
Yon light is not daylight, I know it, I. Think'st thou we shall ever meet again?
I doubt it not. And all these woes shall serve for sweet discourses in our time to come. Good night. Good night.
Parting is such sweet sorrow.
That shall say, good night, till it be morn.
And with that, Romeo is ushered off into the wings. Juliet watches him go, and then full of hope, she turns to see him coming from the other direction. Only this time, he doesn't come. He continues to not appear until Juliet, with a book in her hand, accepts this as the next right thing. She retreats upstage to read the book privately, while the porter is bathed in his own special light.
What's more to say? What's more to do? Their toils and loves played long. The epilogue comes to end their play, or would you rather a song? So they stayed within this place, if here can measure time. Some years they stayed within this place, until the ordained chime. 'Twas he it rang for first and low, the note both strong and spare. Her grief, a flood of love grown great, made sweet with years of care. They poured for he who crossed her star. They ran like rivers deep. For who can bear to soldier on alone, where none can sleep? But do not grieve them, gentles all. Think this a dream or play. They live again in words and songs to live and love another day. Thus, porter, I, beyond the veil, hath given all my heart to bring these lovers to and fro, who loved till death did part.
The lights fade away. The music comes up. End of play. Very good, everyone. Thank you very much. That was our reading of Star-Crossed by Michael Carey. Actors and playwright, do you want to join us on screen?
Excellent.
Nice work, everybody. Nice work.
Thank you, folks. That was lovely.
We're going to shift to, yeah, good job. Good job, everybody. Not sure how all the technical stuff works, so we're going to switch to a little discussion here. But people are welcome to join us if they would like. As we're doing that, Michael, maybe you can just give us a little, just to kick us off, maybe you just give us a little context of where did this play come from? What was the genesis of you starting to think about these characters in this way, and how did you get into start writing this?
Okay. There was a whole cauldron of circumstances that sort of brought this about. I am a teacher, and at some point, and a teacher of Shakespeare, and so at one point, a fair amount of students in one of my classes were commenting on how stupid Romeo and Juliet were, and I had this paternal sort of defense mechanism kick in, and we really got to thinking about who they are and the situation they were in. And, were they rash? Were they speedy? Yes, all those things. But there was that line at the beginning of the play where the prologue says these two star-crossed lovers, and I was like, they were put together. So these actions they're making are I think, completely rational. And their thing. Now, the other portion of where this came from is that I'm a 48-year-old man who's about to celebrate 26 years of marriage tomorrow. And marriage is hard. I'm married to probably the best woman on the planet, and we still there's stuff that we can encounter. And one of the hardest things we had to do in that first year of marriage was learn how to play games. And then once we just barely figured out how to be around each other, several years later, we had a baby, and then everything changed again. We had several babies, all the babies. And so there's that too. A fantasia of marriage was really on my head for a long time. And then a third place, I've been wrestling with this concept for a while. I was listening to a This American Life episode, and there's something called a lexical gap. And they were talking about how there is no word in the English language for parents who have lost their children. And coming from a biblical perspective, I've had some people in my life lose children. I don't think there is a name for them. I don't think there is a way to make those sounds with your mouth to describe what those people have gone through. And so I've been really attached to that concept for quite a while. And so it all sort of poured in together. So that's the genesis of the project. And then after that, it was all scribbling and bibbling, I think Mozart says.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. That's cool. Thanks for your work. This is a great piece and lots of fun to work on. Chris is monitoring the YouTube chat, so I don't know if there are some comments or questions there. But I usually like to start when we do a little bit of feedback and talk about and we'll invite the actors to converse in this, because actors have only been with this play for a few short hours, right? We've got to read it, and we played around with it a little bit, but of course we're all still discovering the play together. So So I'd like to maybe hear from the actors, what's something that you discovered tonight, as you worked through the play again, or maybe even over the last couple days in the preparations, something that stood out to you, something you really connected to more tonight than you had before.
I think something for me personally is as a playwright myself, I'm always looking for where I can incorporate more moments of tenderness because I'm a great believer in tenderness. And I think that acts of tenderness are so human and so important and so vital. And I think I felt tenderness in Juliet in many places when I first read the script, but tonight I was surprised at how tenderness is embedded in so many of her lines, and even in the more intense moments of like really intense conflict, I was landing on little flurries of tenderness and empathy. And for me, that felt very human. And it reminded me of how even when we are in conflict with another person that we love, that tenderness can still exist. So I think for me as a performer, it was really wonderful to experience that texture, and to not have it just be very one-dimensional, because I've definitely performed argument scenes where it just feels so one-dimensional, but I felt like I found the different layers in those argument scenes. And I think my favorite scene from this whole piece, I've said this in rehearsal, but I'll say this again. This wasn't a new discovery. I just loved it more, is the scene between Juliet and the porter where he's talking about Lady Macbeth. And I just feel like that scene, it's my favorite. It's my favorite, the tenderness there. And when the porter has that one moment where he starts out by saying, like, don't look for companionship where none lies. And then he ends it by saying, Lady Macbeth, like, you remind me of her, and there's this great vulnerability that he shares. It's beautiful, where we might say like, oh, I'm not your friend, but then vulnerability takes over. So to see the porter become more human in that moment was really lovely. Those are some discoveries I made.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that. I like that idea of the texture that you're talking about, of the tenderness combined with the argument, because that seems to be a theme through the play, taken to extremes of this idea of loving while you hate, or hating, sometimes we hate a behavior or hate something that they do, or but still finding love in that, or that. So it's cool. So that was alive in you in the scenes that you were reading. Joe or Hari, do you want to share any thoughts and discoveries for you guys tonight?
I think just being able to live with the play, like, for a little bit more time. I think, like naturally, like any other play, the more time that you spend with it, the more that you discover. So that was the main thing for me with this thing. So yeah.
Yeah, and I wish we had more time, and would still unearth it, but yeah,
We got an extra day.
so many things to find.
We did get an extra
Another
day.
extra day.
I mean,
I
it's
know.
true.
Yeah.
This would have been
We just
over
didn't
for
get to
24
rehearse, so.
hours by now, but no, we got an extra day. Spend a little bit more time with it. No, I feel the same way as Hari does, that, it really does feel like there'd be so much more to continue to mine once this starts to get up on its feet and starts to live in a whole different way. But yeah, it's interesting because it really is, for playing the porter, it really is, the role feels so functional for so much of the play, not only as, the moving people to and fro, and then but then providing the comedic background as well, but then to have it turn around into this real vulnerability moments, not only with, I mean, it pretty much breaks through with that, talking about how he got here, but then getting through the passing of the plant and the other moments with with the other two of them. It's quite a journey for a role that would otherwise be a very functional role. You got these two of the great figures of romantic literature.
You.
Right. And then there's this other guy.
Yeah. And doesn't he has one scene in the
Mhm.
Shakespeare version of him? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He got fleshed out a bit.
a little
Mhm.
bit, yeah.
Yeah. Which is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Michael, as you listened and participated, are there questions you want to ask the actors? Are there specific things you want to talk about? I want to give you a chance to talk or ask first, some things that you might want feedback on, even as you're thinking about what might be next for this play.
Yeah. These last few times through, I've been trying to hear for circular arguments where the dead horse is being flogged. So those are popping out. The play's getting leaner, which I'm really pleased about. We shed a little over 5 pages in the last 2 days, which if I could do that in my own life, I'd be doing all right. Um, so and I even heard some stuff tonight where we're like, oh, that's a line that's actually repeated. And it's not just a turn of phrase; it's a repeated thought without much justification. So I'm trying to pick out those parts. So as far as questions for you guys, um, there are several moments, and I really appreciate that we didn't spend the time plucking them out. There are special moments in the show where we are the characters are subconsciously channeling William Shakespeare's thoughts, in that we're pulling sometimes whole scenes out of other plays to suit our purposes. Lots of little lines, but I'm wondering, does it matter to you to know that that is happening? Or is that better embedded as a, I don't know if Easter egg is even the right word, to let those sleeping dogs sort of lie?
Can I answer that?
Mhm.
No.
That's why we've been asked, I think.
I wasn't sure who was being asked. I think you should let sleeping dogs lie because I think it's better as a discovery. And I think it would be, if I had read that as an actor, I feel like I would have, for example, I was thinking of the chess game in The Tempest with when they're playing cards. And if I had known of that scene as reference, I feel like it would have changed my experience of that. I wouldn't have been as I think not thinking of that reference allowed me to channel all of Juliet's 14-year-old teenage angst and like, oh, this is dumb. I don't want to lose. Like it allowed me to have that energy more so than if I was thinking of Miranda and Ferdinand or in a totally different context. So I think it's a beautiful discovery actors can make in their own rooms with their director. And like nerdily, I think it's really cool. Like I love that.
Makes you feel
But
smart when you find them.
yes. Yes, I'm like, oh, I know this. I think you can just let them stand as the devices that they are and let these characters be new in them. That's how I feel. Willing
I
to take
would
opposing views.
I would agree with that because the phrases that come in fit to the moment in the show well enough that if you didn't know Shakespeare encyclopedically, then the moment would hold.
Okay.
There isn't like, oh, someone says some random thing and then you go, oh, by the way, that was Shakespeare. Like that's not necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, but it ends up sitting there for people who do have more experience with the lexicon. Then there's little rewards along the way.
I like
That's
how
why I
it
was so
too.
glad that ISP. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just going to add, but I like how it feels, and especially for two characters who ostensibly always speak in iambic pentameter, who are now playing in prose. Like it feels like when they slip into um, uh, the verse again when they're lifting out these words of Shakespeare. It feels like, oh, suddenly they're like talking their original language. It's like they're talking their heart language now. Like things have become important, and they slip back into this thing. And I like emotionally how that feels. You were gonna say something, Michael?
Oh, I was just really grateful for ISP for taking this on because of their familiarity with um, all of Shakespeare's works. How many did you get through all of them as readings? Yeah,
we read through the whole canon, yeah, and some of them a few times actually.
that's
Yeah.
kind of a
Couple of them repeated, and then there were a handful of other things that were outside of Shakespeare.
tag-alongs.
Yeah, we did some other verse plays or as well, but yeah.
Some verse plays. There was a Strindberg. There was a Faust.
Faust.
Yep.
When you read
Yeah.
Faust.
Wow, that was
And,
intense.
Yeah.
Oh, we did all of
You know,
Shakespeare.
light fare like that. Faust. Job. Yeah.
Faust. I think I was in Faust.
Yeah, we did 56 plays in 56 weeks.
And we're gonna do it again.
Starting now. Let's go.
56 plays in
Didn't
56
do it
days.
here.
Going for it.
One play a day. Do not put that past me.
We gotta
I will
up the game a
totally
little
do that.
bit.
Wow.
Chris stress strokes his
Um,
beard.
We had a guest join us, so thank you. I wonder, Sebian, I wondered if there's a question from you for our playwright tonight, if you want to participate, and if you don't, that's okay too.
Okay, I can speak. Cool.
Oh, I see. You put a
Yeah, I put it in chat. Sorry, I'm kind of at home right now and I have friends over, so I don't want that to be distracting or pulling away from anything. So I sent apparently yeah, so yeah, so
in the
I'm
chat,
just
we
gonna
see
be
it.
messaging.
That's great.
So this is from
Sebian's
one of my
question,
students. Yeah.
yeah, his question is, what were some of your original thoughts when reading through the play? So I think he's getting about first impressions. So maybe this is for the actors to speak to.
Can I piggyback on that question? Because I think you guys got
Yeah,
the information that there was a play coming, and what interest there was, and I think there might have only been character descriptions at the time. Is that the case, or did you read the play and then say I want to do it?
No, I
Oh,
think we just
no.
had character description. Yeah.
we just
They're
had
just characters.
descriptions. Yeah,
Yeah, that's all we
Yeah,
had.
yeah, I think we just knew
yeah.
it was Romeo and
So
Juliet
when you get to
and
the
a
play, and
porter,
we're
and I'm still angry that I'm not playing Juliet.
Yeah, I asked for
And
the porter and I got Juliet. It was
so upset.
weird. Yeah. Joe and I are
Rage.
fuming.
I hold it in. I hold it in. No, it was yeah. So it was a great surprise to then be able to read it and see where all it was going to go, because it was such a rich idea, you know, because it really the core idea really could just go anywhere. I mean, who even knows? You can have 50 different plays come from just the same idea. And so I was just really excited reading it through the first time and seeing all of the places that that it went, and the humor that it had, and the earnest desire to get to the bottom of some of these deeper questions that are relationship things that most people face if you're trying to be in relationship with other people.
Yeah, I
Kate, do you want
think
to add to that?
yes, I initially, as a great Bard lover, as all of you know, I am always skeptical of adaptations or anything that takes a Shakespearean character and puts it into a different scenario. And I am always skeptical, but I'm always intrigued and excited. So I went in just purely not knowing what to expect. And for me, I think what I really appreciated was, as Joe was mentioning, the sheer deep dive into relationship dynamics. I think with some of the adaptations that I've read in the past, it's been maybe more caught up in plot or throwing a bunch of characters together. And so I really appreciated having 3 characters and have it be so intimate and the stakes pretty high immediately, and the focus being solely on making this relationship work. And a lot of the plays that I write are about shoving characters into uncomfortable spaces where they have to work on their stuff. And so I think as I was reading the script, I was really excited by the fact that it was a confined space and that it doesn't veer away from talking about the hard stuff. And also, I really felt that it reminded me of the fact that these characters are teenagers, like 14 and 15. And so being able to step into that as a performer and to remind myself like, oh, yes, I'm portraying someone half my age right now. And to feel that was really believable as well. To like feel that progression from 14-year-old to like a more mature Juliet over the arc of the play, I really appreciated. So yeah, I loved that concept the moment that I saw what the context was. And it wasn't heavy-handed and it was very meta. And I think I love anything that's meta and surreal. So yeah, those are my initial impressions. And then I think under Barrett's direction, unearthing so much more of that subtext within every single scene. How much is unsaid in every scene too, how much is unsaid in every human dynamic that we have. So yeah, it was a lot of psychology, and I really love that as a performer. So those are my initial thoughts.
All right. Do you want to share any initial impressions?
I think, yeah, mainly the fact that what really hooked me to the play was the meta-ness, definitely. Yeah, like just the meta references, the fact that, there are parts in the play where it can laugh at itself. So I think that like yeah, that was like my first impression, sprinkled with little bits of humor. Sure, it is like, there are like tough things that are talked about, but at the same time, it's not just sad and dreary. There is like a sort of hope as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. There was like a lot of playfulness. And that was kind of a first impression for me. And also just you're so used to knowing, I don't know, we only know these characters in some sense an immature way, in an immature state. They're young and we get that picture of them. And so for them to and they could have stayed that way. There could have been a play where they just stayed 14 and were stuck there and did that. But to get to see them progress and mature for me, and yeah. And I told Michael I'd never been so sad about a plant before in my life when we worked our way through there. It was very good.
That triggers, I think, my largest question for an audience and for the actors and me, and also for the director. There's a fight in my house right now, and I need to have you guys help me solve it. I think this play is a comedy. I think it adheres to the rules of a comedy, but my wife says it's not. And I love the discussions we have about it, but I'm firm on calling it such. But I'm wondering what your thoughts are with that label, and if I'm right. I think that's what I'm actually asking. Am I right?
Okay. I
Go
think
ahead.
when I saw that it was a comedy, I was like, oh no. Because I feel like when I see a Shakespeare adaptation or like using Shakespeare characters and it's a comedy, I'm not expecting the depth that I find in these pages. So I think there's so much texture. I think there's so much realness. There's comedic elements, but I actually would not call it a comedy.
Okay. She would like you a lot.
Yay. Get along with the wife.
Yeah.
It's tricky because, you know, those hard and fast rules of, you know, comedy is about things coming together, and tragedy is about things being ripped apart. That it tends to be easier to define that when you think about the unities of time, place, and action that you come from in ancient Greek comedy, which of course Shakespeare is breaking all of those rules, mostly because I don't know if they heard about them in England. They did, but those rules, those sharp definitions are easier when you have a limited amount of time that you're dealing with. Is there reunion? Is there a coming together within that finite amount of time? What you've done is taken them out of time and making them spend an extended period in a liminal space without time, though it does come to an end. But it also comes to an end at different times for the two of them. So like you're way off of any neoclassicist would just be throwing this whole thing out the window.
Okay. Well, they're not invited. None of those French folks can come see
yeah,
my.
I mean, to be fair, they're all dead. But it would be hard to be clear in the definitions of it, because there's so many things happening in this that they never would have foreseen.
Yeah.
But even if it would be hard to call it necessarily a tragedy, because it isn't about things being ripped down, though their union, their reunion or their union, however you want to look at it, does resolve towards the end, even though one of them is taken before the other one is. It's like they're reaching the end of a natural time span. When you use life, I mean, they're already dead. But they're reaching, because they're now experiencing the marriage and the life and the experiences that they would have had if they hadn't, done themselves in way too early. It feels more like a traditional comedy in that sense, because there is that coming together.
There's a really cool line, and I think Bill Kane wrote it in Equivocation. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this work, but it's a really great bio thing on the creation of Macbeth. And they're complaining, the players are complaining that Shakespeare writes comedies that aren't funny anymore. And so I was saying that's a comedy because their marriage works by the end. Like, it works out.
It does.
And then I kill you. So
yeah, you got through all of that and you only killed one plant.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool. Thank you. That's important for me.
It was a question that came up, since we're circling back to plants. The question did come up about why choose plants as the stand-in for children.
We, the Careys, have a very difficult time keeping any sort of greenery alive. Entropy is strong in our house. So that was one of those things, like, and then there's also in a lot of pop psychology, the idea, like, if you can take care of a plant, you can take care of a pet. And if you can take care of a pet, then maybe you could take care of a kid. I don't agree with any of that.
Doesn't that start with keeping an egg or a bag of flour?
Yeah,
Isn't
the
that
bag of
first
flour
one?
thing we had to do in high school.
Yeah.
So that's where the plants came from in my thing. And I also, what did W.C. Fields say? Never share the stage with dogs or children. So I wasn't about to foist 7 new characters on you at the middle of Act 2. And I was like, what could it be? And what's the fragilest thing I can think of? And my first run through was I was pulling from Tennessee Williams and a bunch of these crystalline figurines.
Unicorns.
And the only problem with them that I saw that I had in my head, and I don't know if it's even feasible on stage, is the growth of these other plants while one stays. Really felt right. And I landed on that. I was working the figurines thing, and it felt like a real strong struggle to put this other playwright's thoughts into. I was like, okay, stop. Let's pray about this and find out what it can really be.
Just reading a little comment on the chat here. Was saying that
I can just
this is
I
a good
can
question
probably yeah,
as
it's a big
well.
question, so I can talk through it real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I love how we have the concept in it that Romeo and Juliet kind of can't leave the space. Like you walk so far and you just come back out the other end. Like it's almost like it's a looping area. So there's only so much space that they can have from each other. And I mentioned that I really liked the difficulties in the beginning. Like once you're past the puppy love and everything and the infatuation, and it really is like, can these characters work together? Having them stuck in that space almost, I feel like helped reinforce that and carry through the story how they were able to reach their happy marriage and everything at the end. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this would still work if they weren't stuck in that space? Like, what if they were able to just leave each other and not think about each other again? Do you think they could still make it work out, or do you think they would just give up on it all?
Well, it wouldn't be a comedy. That's
That's
a
a
good
really
question,
good
man.
question. It
So a
is
little
interesting.
That
insight.
sounds like a whole nother play there, actually.
Yeah, I was just gonna
We
say a
could
little
try that
insight
one out.
at the beginning of this. When you first get married, your method of resolving conflict is a direct result, not a copy, but a result of how your households you come from resolved conflict. And my house growing up didn't have much, especially in the way of parental conflict that I could see. Everything happened behind closed doors. Every once in a while, when I was staying up later than I should and pushing the carpet down so I could watch the Johnny Carson show under their door, I would hear the end bits of conflict happening inside the house. Whereas my wife, when she grew up in a house where if her parents got into conflict, they would leave. They would separate into different parts of their house and let things cool off. And she never got to hear the result of that. So when we got into our own conflict, I was a person who went to go fix things and find her. She'd escaped to a different part of the house, and I would go seek her out. She's like, "What are you doing in here?" And I was like, I want to fix this problem." And that really worked for us. My wife's parents had a great marriage. And he was taken far too soon from us. And I think my parents have a great marriage, and they had different ways of working it out. So that's my ballpark that I was working with this this particular problem.
I think it's really interesting because in the text, the original play, there's just the intense desire to be together, and this idea of Romeo being banished is like a death sentence. This idea of distance feels like a death sentence. So it is interesting that they get what they want in this play. They get space that is theirs. There's nobody else except for the porter that's trying to separate them and create that distance. But the distance that they can have in this play is very small and not really distance. It's like sort of being able to have your separate space, but not. So I think that, I don't know, in the actual world of Verona and exile, there are a lot of other places that they could have run off to, but at the same time, you know, it wouldn't really be possible for a married woman to just walk out on her own and leave her marriage at that time. So she would have had to have stayed, but I don't know if I would have seen, you know, in the realm of Shakespeare's text. I don't think I would see them being able to come to these revelations because the porter guides them. Is the other piece of it. The porter's kind of like a therapist in a way for a lot of this. I bet there wasn't a lot in terms of therapists in Shakespeare's day and age.
And he's a lot better at it than Friar Lawrence was. Good grief.
God,
That guy was
Lord.
terrible.
Yeah. He didn't do a lot of good.
No. No.
So
Yeah, I
he-
hate
One
to
clue in
hate
the
to feel that way, the way that because their first instinct, especially Romeo's, usually is to like bounce whenever the problems show up. Oh, Rosalind, she's so wonderful. Oh, hey, there's this other chick. Bounce. You know, he's just gonna. I feel like he's at that age where if he didn't have to, if he didn't have proper guidance, if he didn't have a lack of opportunity to bounce to something new, I think he might. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing for Romeo. I
Yeah.
worry that he wouldn't figure out how to do it if nobody was forcing him.
Yeah, I agree.
one thing I see in the play, even though they do go off, and they both do, it seems I'm trying to think of an instance when like they still make some sort of choice to come back. They still sort of make that on their own, some sort of choice to come back to the room. Maybe it's because they don't have any other place to go, but they don't keep walking or whatever. They eventually like walk that out, or they eventually, I don't know. They both do continually seem to in the play anyway, in the world that they make a choice to come back. So I don't know. And then to the original question, maybe there's a clue there. I don't know. Okay, I think it's getting very, very late. Mike, I'll give you the last word if there's anything that you wanted to say or share, or a last question you wanted to ask.
I don't think I have any more questions for you guys. Just thanks, and more thanks. It is a privilege and a frightening thing to share my work with other folks. I'm probably one of the most private playwrights I know. I rarely get the chance to dish these things out, and that's just my own personal way of doing stuff. So um, I want to thank Chris Monroe for being such a good friend and opening the doors here, and for the time for these actors to come together under Barrett's leadership was just a joy to watch. I love to be surprised by my own stuff, so thank you.
Great.
Thank you all. Thank you all. It was great. It was amazing. I didn't see a lot of comments
Thanks
on
everybody
YouTube.
for watching.
The comments on YouTube were disabled.
That's that. Yeah, I was afeared of that. Afeared that there was no way for them to comment, which I didn't know about. So, but it's out there.
Yep,
I'll
I
fix that.
appreciate it.
See what they say.
All right, how do you sign these things off?
I just say thank you to everybody again for all your work, and let's do it again sometime.
All right.
All right.
Thank
Take
you.
care, everybody.
Take care.
Good night, all.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.